Hello and welcome to Called Bang Sports. The Utah Jazz lost tonight against the Indiana Pacers by a final score of 125 to 113. And I've been thinking for a bit about how I feel about this game and what I want to say, because I feel like I shouldn't just say, well, this is what happens when the Jazz don't have Rudy Gobert. But that's really kind of what I've come down to is the Jazz were missing Rudy Gobert against one of the better offensive centers in the league in Sabonis, and Sabonis made them pay. I mean, he had an absolutely amazing night tonight. Let me just double check his final stat line. He had 42 points on 18 of 22 shooting, 3 of 4 from 3. That is just, and 3 of 4 from the free throw line. He just had an absolutely amazing night. That definitely was in part to Whiteside getting into foul trouble early. So I'm sure that Whiteside wasn't able to play defense as aggressively as he would have liked after picking up those 2 fouls, I believe, in the first 5 minutes of the game. But Sabonis is just really good. And Sabonis is great. And Whiteside is really good. So great, definitely triumphs good in this game, and he had a career night that just really hurt the Jazz. The Jazz lost by 12 and Sabonis was plus 13. So there's a pretty big correlation there. And obviously it still feels like the Jazz should have won because the Pacers are missing some of their key players from a COVID perspective. But not having Gobert to be able to, stop Sabonis really hurts the Jazz. And also and while Miles Turner didn't have a great night, you still have 2 really tall guys on the floor, and you're not able to have not only your best defender as a team in Rudy Gobert, but the best defender in the league, in my opinion, and no questions asked, the best defensive center in the league, if you want to be super specific about it and leave the door open for other players like Draymond Green to be the best defender in the league. But that's going to hurt the Jazz, and it's going to hurt the Jazz until Gobert comes back and until Gobert gets to full strength. If you haven't had a chance to watch our Saturday episode that we put out today, please do. And I talk a bit about the fact that, when is Gobert going to be back because of COVID? And is it going to take him a while to get back into peak shape? And I don't know the answers to those questions. I know he had a high fever, and I hope he's okay, and I hope he gets back soon because the Jazz really need him. Tonight they did have Pelly, I think that's how you pronounce it, play some minutes at center, but really the only true center on the court was Hassan Whiteside. I don't even know Pelly's height, actually. He had a decent game, not really good in the plus minus, but I don't really expect that a lot from him considering how he just signed with the team. Yeah, he's 6'10", so he's listed at a power forward, but that's a respectable center height. Maybe a bit small. But yeah, the main reason that I think Gobert is the big takeaway for me on this is because when I look at everybody else from an offensive perspective, there's nothing super concerning for me. I mean, Royce O'Neal was 3 of 3 and made 2 3-pointers from the field. Awesome. Bojan was 7 of 16 and 3 of 9 from 3. Yeah, would have liked to see him make one more 3-pointer, but again, I might have said 3 of 3 from the field. He was 7 of 16 from the field and 3 of 9 from 3. And he was 4 of 4 from the line. Whiteside was 3 of 6 from the field. And so not only did the Jazz mix Gobert from a defensive perspective, Whiteside only put up 8 points. And when you have Rudy Gobert, I think averaging 15 points right now, if not just below that as your starting center, that's big. Whiteside is not nearly as scary on the defensive end and not nearly as scary on the offensive end. And I'm not trying to trash Whiteside. It's just Gobert is that good. And that's why he's definitely the most valuable player on the Jazz. And then Conley didn't shoot as much as I would have liked, but 3 of 6 from the field and 1 of 4 from 3 is probably the most disappointing performance other than Rudy Gay. And then Mitchell had an amazing night, 36 points, 6 of 12 from 3, and then 7 of 15 from the field from inside the arc, and 4 of 4 from the line. And so basically you get down to it. And while Clarkson had a good game, he definitely had the most concerning outcome where all of the other Jazz players are either, bare or in the positive. The only 2 in the positive are Whiteside at +2 and Conley at +9. And Pascal at +2. But everyone else is in the single digit negatives. And somehow, somewhere, Clarkson is at -30. I would have to go rewatch this game. And I'm pretty sure probably what ended up happening is a lot of Clarkson's 28 minutes corresponded, to the 23 that Whiteside wasn't on the floor. And so him playing those 23 minutes when the Jazz don't have a viable center option on the court, and you have a Pacers team that is just having a really good game. I mean, they shot 55% from the field. They shot 48% from three. Like, it was just not a good defensive outing for the Jazz. And so while their offensive outing was okay, the fact that the Pacers shot 4 less shots than the Jazz, but made 4 more shots and got to the line a total of 13 more times than Utah, just really sealed the deal. They could not stop Sabonis, which led to more open looks from the outside, and just led to them losing the game and getting swept by the Pacers, which really bites, like, especially after the Jazz last night played no rotation players other than Whiteside and looked like they were setting up to go all in against the Pacers and pick up a win. And instead they pick up 2 losses in a back-to-back. And that makes me wonder a bit more about looking at the Jazz going forward without Gobert. When's the next game they're going to be playing a center where you're going to really miss having him on the court and having Gobert be able to defend to the level that he has. Obviously, we're always going to miss Gobert's defense as fans, and the Jazz are always going to miss that defense. But it is going to matter much more when you're playing, the Philadelphia 76ers than when you're playing a team that doesn't have that center presence. So Detroit, not a super big concern there. But if Gobert's not back against Cleveland come this upcoming Wednesday, which I don't expect to see him back, and if he's not back against Denver on the 16th, not tomorrow, but the next Sunday, those 2 games are going to be rough without Gobert. And so I am a lot more pessimistic now as I look at it from a what centers do the other team have perspective, which isn't necessarily how I was looking at it this morning when I was thinking about it. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, the Jazz overall, really, it felt like they had an okay game. They just were not able to stop Sabonis, and by extension, not able to stop the rest of the Pacers. So the 15 turnovers didn't help, but that really didn't impact anything points-wise. The Jazz allowed 16 points off of turnovers, and the Pacers allowed 14, even though they turned the ball over 5 times less. So that's really my takeaway. The Jazz are going to miss Gobert. I wish I had a better takeaway, but I don't. And it shows that just like in the playoffs when the Jazz didn't have Conley and when Donovan was hurt towards the end, middle and end of the Clippers series, the Jazz really need everyone to be successful. They're not a team who can be missing a rotation player, even if it's on the bench, and have a chance at the chip, in my opinion. It is definitely a pessimistic look at it, but I do think that's just how things are for this team. They cannot afford, come playoff time, to have players not be playing at 90, 95, or 100%. So thank you guys so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Please leave a like, follow, leave comments. We love to continue the discussion. I hope you guys have a great weekend and see you Monday. Go, and that was pathetic. Go Jazz.